Another miserable rainy day. Whoa, thanks for joining me today. This is Danny, and welcome back to my rainy world on my FTB Infinity server. Today I am here in my dimensioning room where my Mystcraft and RF tool stuff is, because we're just about to check out a brand new dimension I just created that I haven't even generated yet. Because what I want to do today is I want to start building a transportation network. Now, of course, we have lots of cool ways to get around. We have our enhanced charm of dislocation, we have our staff of traveling, and they've kind of negated the need for any real transportation network, you know, like roads or rail and that kind of stuff. But roads and rail are fun. And I've decided that that even though I can get around easily without roads and rail, I would like to build some for aesthetical purposes and also potentially for mana transport purposes as well. What I want to do is I want to build a road and rail network that kind of heads over here and then back toward our base. And I'd like to have a few interesting sites along the way. So for instance, I'd like to move the tree farm away from the base somewhere out here so that we kind of drive through the tree farm as we're making our way over to this little coliseum. And then I'd like to have kind of a little transportation hub that takes us to the different dimensions. What I did is I created a dimension, a Mystcraft dimension. It's probably not going to be terribly interesting. It's a flat world, extreme hills. I've got floating islands of tropics just to make it kind of fun and interesting. But really the main purpose of this is that we're going to have crystalline formations, which will allow us to make portals. Oh, snow. Oh well, who cares? This is what we need, and this is really all we need out of all this. Hey, where are the islands? There should be floating islands around. Here's a library. But anyway, this is all I want. So I'm going to... Actually, why don't we just... collect this. I don't know if we need silk touch or anything for these. Nope, nope. We can break them easily. Really, I guess we're not going to need all that many of these, so we probably... I mean, we're not going to really have to set up a mining thing or anything like that, but... So we can craft a book receptacle. And we can build a portal. We can shape these things in lots of different configurations. We can make them big, we can make them oddly shaped, we can make like L shapes. Like, I think we could even... I just spent the last half hour or so fixing my house. Just a little word of caution: if you do like to use overpowered tools like I do, like the Draconic Staff of Power, be careful. There we go. So now we have a portal to go into our new dimension. Whoa, holy cows. The idea behind Steve's carts is that you can build custom mine carts that have, there's like all these different little components and pieces that you can add to the minecart to allow it to do things like mining, laying tracks, building bridges, and all kinds of stuff like that. Farming, you can do farming with them. It's really freaking cool. But of course, you know, most of the stuff that you can do with Steve's carts, you can also do with just some box, you know, some machine. Like, of course, mining, we can just use a quarry. For farming, we can just use a harvester and a planter and all that. But hey, where's the fun in that? So we haven't really been playing with any of that kind of stuff because there's, you know, mostly easier ways to do things, but easier doesn't necessarily mean better. What I've got here is a cart assembler. This is Steve's carts, and this is basically the machine that allows us to build our carts. So the first thing we have to do is get a hull. There's 3 different types of hulls. There's a wooden hull. Actually, I think there's more than 3, but there's a wooden hull. There's a standard hull. which I think is made of iron. Yeah, and then there's the reinforced hull. I'm gonna go ahead and make the reinforced hull. We would probably be okay with a standard hull, but you know, let's just do the reinforced one. Why not? So the first thing we need to do is make the reinforced metal, which, yeah, we don't have any of that. Okay, which is smelting the stabilized metal, and the stabilized metal is this. So I'm gonna drill into this off camera, and I'm gonna make a bunch of stabilized metal. Find hardener. So it's kind of a deep recipe, but the difference between the three different hulls are the number of engines you can have, the number of add-ons you can have, and the complexity. So each add-on, so things like a drill for mining, a seat for sitting in, storage, you can put like chests on them, little storage chests, and just a whole bunch of different stuff that you'll see as we put the thing together. They all have a complexity rating. So first we stick our hull in here, and then it'll open up all the slots that are available for this particular hull. And in this case, this is the max hull, so all the slots are open. And I have all these various components that I'm going to be adding to this thing. Some of them are engines, some are tools, some are attachments, some are storage, some are add-ons. If we just shift click, it'll put them in the right place. So there's our engine. We really only need one engine in this guy. I mean, we could have more, and if one runs out of fuel, then it'll go to the next one. But since we're going to be riding it, it'll be fine. Here's our tool. It's a hardened drill. You can see there's several different types of drills. I think that's the top tier one right there. There's our engine. So as we build this thing, you can see that it's kind of putting it together for us. And that's actually what it's going to look like in the world. And then we're going to give it a seat so that we can ride. We can ride in it now. And an advanced control system. This is freaking awesome. This allows us to actually steer and control this thing. And so like if there's a junction, a rail junction, we can actually use our WASD keys to turn left or right at a junction, or to go straight, and to speed up and slow down. So it is really nice. The bridge builder, that's going to allow us to build a bridge. And the track, the large railer, there's a small railer and there's a large railer. The large one, I don't remember what the difference is. I think it holds more tracks. I don't remember what else is different, but internal storage, this is basically a chest so that we can store stuff inside, which we're going to need room for like rails and coal and things like that. And then the height controller. This allows us to, as it's placing rails, because it has a railer, which means that it can actually place rails as it goes through the world. So we could just drive this thing around all over the place where there are no rails, and it'll just place rails as it goes. It'll build bridges as it goes if it has to go over like a ravine or something. And then drill intelligence allows us to control the drill. The drill is basically for like when we want to dig through tunnels and stuff like that. I mean, I think the main reason people usually use the drills is for mining, so that you can have this thing go down to like level 10 or whatever, and it'll drill its way down, and it'll basically quarry for you. But in this case, we're going to be using it to build tunnels and stuff like that where we need to. And the drill intelligence allows us to control the exact shape of the tunnel. And then colorizer just allows us to change the color. So then we click assemble. The more complex your cart is, the longer it's going to take to assemble. So this guy is going to take 48 minutes to assemble. Oh, and it needs fuel. Duh. Okay. We need to throw some coal in there. Kinda forgot. There we go. Okay. So now it's... That's an important part. You do have to give it fuel, and then when it's done, it's going to stick the cart right here. There is a cheat. I mean, we could go into creative mode. If we just pop into creative mode for a second, it'll actually just finish this guy. But, you know, this is a survival series. I'm going to stay in survival mode. I'm going to let it go the 48 minutes while it assembles our cart. And I'm just going to do a little bit of off-camera work, kind of making some decisions about how I want this. This is kind of the original idea I had about this road. We're almost done. Got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. Oh, okay. Less than 5 seconds. There it is. There's our little cart. Look at that. Look at how you can see all the parts in the little item. That is very cool. Very nice. Whoa. So now we're going to play with this thing. So I've decided that I'm going to build the road back. I'm lagging so bad. Hopefully we'll be able to fix a lot of this lag with this project. But I'm going to build the road here. See, that's where I am. Here's the base. We're up really high. This is all highly elevated area here, the moor biome. We're going to just have it run straight through here, and then there's kind of a little thing here where this is a lower elevation. So we're going to come down into this valley. We're going to turn this way, and we're going to kind of zigzag our way sort of toward the end of this little thing, this little peninsula. And then we're going to cross here, make a little bridge, and kind of go through this valley. This is where we're going to move our tree farm, I think. I'm thinking we're going to move our tree farm into this little field. And I'm also going to put some other farms here too, mostly just for aesthetics. I think I want to have like a big field here, like a big wheat field. I think that would look pretty cool. And then we're going to come across to have another bridge going over here. And the bridge that this cart is going to build for us is going to be pretty basic. But we'll be able to go back and kind of spruce it up and make it look real nice. And then we're going to have it come right up to the front, or near the front entrance of our little arena coliseum thing here, which must be open at the moment because the map actually updates when we open and close the roof. Oh yeah, and we're also going to have it eventually go this way and across and then head over here to the lighthouse. I have a whole bunch of tracks. We're going to need about 500 tracks. And actually, let's just grab a bunch of them. And we're going to need about 1,500 concrete. I actually have some auto crafting at the moment. But we're just going to start by laying down some tracks. This thing, it's going to break all the grass for us. It's going to dig tunnels. It's going to lay tracks. And it's going to build bridges. Ta-da! Isn't it beautiful? Look at that. It's got a steering wheel. It's got a little kind of throttle lever thing. It's got the drill on the front. And it's got the furnace in the back. Which, actually, let's grab a... We might as well fill it up with coal while we're here, while we're still within wireless range of our house. I have this special golden bag of holding that I basically made just for this project. Oh, we only have 3. Okay, so boom, boom, boom. That should probably be enough fuel to get us there, and maybe even back again. And then we give it tracks, because it's going to be laying tracks for us. And it can actually take 6 stacks of tracks. Nice. And I'm going to keep a stack of tracks in my inventory because we can't tell it to turn the track. It'll only go straight. Oh wow, it's going to carry. Wow, it's going to carry just about enough tracks for the whole trip. So we're going to keep some tracks in our hotbar so that if we want it to turn, all we'll have to do is just like place a track right there, and then it'll follow the track. It'll follow a track that already exists, but if no track exists, it'll keep going straight. And the steering wheel basically just allows us to turn if there's a junction already in the tracks. Here's the drill intelligence, so we can actually tell it exactly how to... I mean, we're definitely not going to need the bridge to be this big. I mean, the tunnels, but if we do... I don't know. Actually, I don't even think we're going to be doing any tunnels. But we can... It'll widen... It'll break the grass and stuff. And we can tell it this bottom row is basically going to be how wide it does that. So I think 3 is probably going to be enough. The height controller, that's going to tell us. So like when we get to that hill over there, we can change the height control. We can like crank it all the way down to whatever the Y level is down there. And it'll actually start digging a trench here if it needs to, down to whatever level we tell it to. So if we tell it to come down to level 68, which is where I am at right now, and then it could drill through this little hill This is gonna be so fun. So we go like that, and I'm gonna set this to 3 by 3. So as we're traveling down the road, I'm just gonna, or as we're traveling down and it's laying its tracks, I'm gonna be doing that. Oh, I guess I'll have to do it ahead of us. So we right click on this guy. It doesn't, when you right click on it, you don't end up getting in it like you would with a normal minecart. You actually have to click mount cart. So here we are. We have our steering wheel. We have to actually hit S, the backward key, to turn it around. And then the internal storage, as it breaks blocks and stuff in the world, it'll throw the stuff in that internal storage. So, oh, we did turn around. Okay, so we're ready to go. And what we do is we hit the space key to get started. You can see it's burning fuel. I'm gonna get my exchanger ready. So of course we can go much faster the more times we hit this. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! Now we gotta slow down. Oh no, no, no! That's not what I wanted to do. Then we hit the shift key to slow down. Oops, we're going backwards now. Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to go kind of slow so that I have time to place the concrete. Oh crap! I'm not. And you can see it's breaking the grass. Ah, I'm missing everything. So it should break this block. Yep. It's breaking all the blocks around it in that pattern that I specified in the drill thing. Oops. Alright, it's gonna start building a bridge now. I could only get it to use vanilla blocks for the bridge, so it's doing stone brick right now. We'll just come back and fix the bridges later. Okay, it's gonna go down now. Alright, so if it's not gonna go down, we can set the height controller down. There we go, so it'll go down. Railcraft hijacked the track recipe. This was quite annoying. This is the track recipe now, and there's no vanilla track recipe. So it's multiple layers, and it needed creosote and all this other stuff, which fortunately I already had because I already had auto-crafting for that from my immersive engineering stuff. But the standard rail, I had to use the rolling machine. So I had to make a rolling machine, and I had to set up auto-crafting for it. Alright, so I set the height controller to 70. I actually... What? No, no. What? Okay. I don't know why it's showing the drill as being on the back. Okay, there we go. So once it reaches the end of this track, it should start going down. There we go. Oh, look at that. Nice. I want it going straight down though. Yeah, I guess we'll just whatever. This will be fine, I suppose. One more level and then it should straighten out, and it's going to kind of tunnel through here. Nice. Alright, our transportation road is complete. The first leg of our transportation network. You see, I've got a little loop here. This is actually where our hub is going to be located eventually. We're going to have a few portals here with roads going into the portals, and I'm hoping that the carts will go through the portals too. The Mystcraft portals, we'll see. So we hit space to go. Oh, we're going this way. Okay. That's strange. Here we are. We've got guardrails where there's drops. And we've got little warning rails where there's big drops. And curbs. Whee! Through the woods here. This is one of my favorite parts. Through a little green tunnel over here. And here's a bridge. The big bridge that we were talking about. Going over stuff. And this is where I'm going to be putting my tree farm, somewhere around here. Look at that. It's suspended in midair. It's just a big chunk of land. Here's our second bridge. There's our stadium and our little village. And there we have it! The brakes. It does take a while to slow this thing down. So I had to do a little bit of manual work. Of course, this thing, it isn't really made for making roads. It's made for automation, for like, you know, doing its own thing. So I did have to go through and kind of fix some of the stuff, but it was really helpful in clearing everything out, and it also did it did the bridges. It started the bridges for me, and then I just used the resonant exchanger to change the block of the bridge, and then I of course used my super builders wand to make the bridges wider. Yeah, I really like how this turned out. It's pretty cool. Alright, I got myself a horse, and it's kind of fast. It's not as fast as I am with my draconic armor, but it's pretty fast. And actually, let's throw some armor on this guy. Nice. And test out our new road with the horse. Hooray! And this guardrail, I actually have it in on the second half of at the bottom part of the second block up. So the horse actually shouldn't, so it does actually stop the horse. Of course the horse can jump over it, but it does stop the horse. So we don't have to worry about accidentally falling off the side of a big cliff. Our road is horse safe. Hooray! The last thing I want to do now is to create our links to the other dimensions as part of our transportation network, as part of a physical transportation network rather than just a simple teleportation system. And what I did is I created a couple of Mystcraft linked books using, of course, the ink mixer, grabbed a link panel page out of here, which takes ink and paper, and then I mixed it with a piece of leather and a crafting table. And I made two linked books. I linked one over here, facing in this direction, and then I made one in the deep dark, and that one I put right in here. We can get through here, and I'm pretty sure we can take our horse through there. Actually, let's test that. I've never tried this before, so maybe this will kill us, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think it's 3 high, so that should be tall enough. What? Oh, you know what? Let's make this 3 wide like everything else. Yeah, that's better. It's not like we have to preserve those crystals. I've got a ton of them and an almost unlimited source. So let's see. Oh, it works, I think. Hooray! Nice. Oh, now I've got to do the same thing over here. So now we're in the deep dark. You can see I've got train tracks here and a chicken, which spawned here, interestingly enough, in the deep dark. I wonder if we can get through this. I'm going to try. It's only 3 high. The one that we just went through was 4 high, but I think this will be... Nope. Okay, so I guess I do have to make these bigger. Okay, there we are. Whoa, what the frick? Hooray, we're back. I'll have to figure out a way to fix that, I guess. So that's the horse way of getting through. However, that does not work for the cart. If we do the same thing with the cart, so we turn this way, it just bounces back. Obviously, that's not what we want. By the way, I do have a junction rail here that allows us to, while we're riding the cart, it allows us to steer because of our advanced control system. So we can go that way or we can go straight, and all we have to do is use our WASD keys. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to use dimensional transceiver. And, oh, you know what? I think we have to power this. Oh, that's okay. We can pull power through the dimensional transceiver. So we're going to receive power. We'll just take some power from source power. It doesn't need much. Just enough to fill up its buffers. And then we're going to create a new, let's see. We'll call it hub-deep dark. And we're going to send. And this is the rail, and then we have to place a ender rail right there. Okay, and it is correctly pointing in this direction, meaning that when we arrive here, that's the direction that our cart is going to be facing. And then we're going to have to do the same thing on the other end. Oh, actually, we have to do that this way. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing, except this time we're going to receive power, but we're going to receive on hub deep dark. And we're facing in that direction. So this is completely independent to the portal. We're not using the portal for this. It's the dimensional transceiver that's actually going to teleport the cart once it hits the ender rail from one place to another, from one ender rail to another. Oops. I've never tried this with Steve's cart, so hopefully it will work with Steve's carts as well. I don't know why it wouldn't. We're going to tell it we want to go straight. Hooray! Oh, man. Alright, well, I've done a little bit of troubleshooting off camera, and I am able to Why is this thing burning fuel? Who cares? I'm able to consistently crash the server. Oh, it's still on, that's why. When I ride the cart through the ender rail. However, if I push the cart, it works just fine. So it's just when I ride. So there does seem to be a little bit of a bug there. So I'll probably report that to on GitHub or something. And so I think that's enough for today. We built our the first leg of our transportation network. This little road and rail going from here to the little village with the Coliseum. Hey, what happened to my map? Oh crap! I must have lost it when I upgraded. I'll have to grab it. From here to the Coliseum, and we actually did the first part of our little transportation hub. Although I'll do the rest of this off camera because it's gonna be a little grindy. I'm gonna set up a bunch of these portals. I'm actually gonna try to blend them in a little better or cover them up because they're kinda. I don't want to say they're ugly. I mean, they're not necessarily ugly, but they just don't. They don't fit the look I'm going for. I'll just say that. So I'm planning on building kind of like a train station-ish sort of thing here. But we're kind of out of time for this episode. And this was definitely quite an undertaking. This took me quite a while to build this road and everything. Although having Steve's carts, that really helped. That was a huge help in building a road network. Even though it's not necessarily what these things are made for, but it definitely helped. It definitely did the job. So yeah, this is pretty exciting. We're getting a kind of almost a real world-ish sort of transportation network in the works. So next time you join me, you should see a little bit more. I mean, we'll probably have like a little kind of train-ish station here kind of thing. And I don't know. I don't think I don't think we're going to get this to work. I mean, I don't see that as a bug that they're probably going to be fixing right away. You know, we can ride our horses through, and we can walk through, and we can push our cart through and then walk through manually and then get back on the cart on the other side. That'll work too. Although we just have to be careful to make sure we get out of the cart soon enough. Maybe I'll have to have some kind of ejector rail or something here to kick me out of the cart, and then the cart will keep going, and then I'll have to jump through the portal and chase it. Maybe not so much, but we'll see. We'll see. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is just for fun and aesthetics anyway. We have better ways of getting around than this, but it's just a fun way to get around. I like the idea of being able to have a little transportation hub and to be able to physically move from one location to another. It's just kind of fun. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions or suggestions or whatever, please feel free to leave them below. And of course, if you did enjoy it, click the like button. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.